Now, the important thing with a clinical interview is the whole process of communication with the patient. There are some important objectives that we need to know, and one is, why are we actually doing the interview? It is for the purpose of coming to a diagnosis. It is also for the purpose of developing a rapport with the patient. When developing a rapport with the patient needs to know that we respect them and we empathize with the problems that they have. The third objective of an interview is therapeutic. And so an interview done well can actually be curative in some ways as well. Many patients who see the doctor for the first time may actually feel much better after the interview and even before they start taking medication. This is all dependent on the quality and the skills put into the interview. So today we're going to focus on several different aspects of the clinical interview. Okay, the first important thing is positioning. Where does the clinician or doctor sit and where does the patient sit? Of course, in positioning and seating, the chairs should be ideally of the equal level. Secondly, there should not be any furniture in between the clinician, doctor and patient. And so as you can see in this setting, we have the patient sitting by the side of the table. This way, it's accessible for me to observe his body language and for him to also notice my body language in the whole process of the interview. Morning.
Good morning,
sir.
Good morning, doctor.
My name is Dr. Philip. How may I call you?
You may call me Gana or Ganavadi. My full name is Ganavadi.
Yes.
So you can call me Gana, doctor.
Okay. Mr. Gana, how old are you now?
I'm 68.
68.
And
are you married?
I'm married. I've got a daughter.
Yes.
She's working currently in KL.
Good.
So I'm more concerned for my family because
Yes.
I think I have a problem with my health.
Okay.
So that is why I'm here. I went to see doctors, normal doctors,
Yes.
medical doctors who gave me some advice that I should go and see a doctor like you. And I was diagnosed as suffering from fatty liver, doctor.
Okay.
And I think I fell into the wrong trap in the sense that I was consuming too much of alcohol.
Too much of alcohol.
Alcohol, doctor. So that's where I'm here,
Yes.
seeking your help and advice
Yes.
to overcome this so that I could be of help to the family and won't be cause of problems and negative implications in the family.
Yes.
And that is why I'm here, doctor.
Okay. There are a few things that you may have noticed in this first part of the interview. The first thing is I stood up to greet the patient. I put my hand out to shake his hands. And I think this is an important aspect in the beginning of the interview to make the patient feel comfortable and also to show respect to the patient. When patients feel that they are respected, they will already then feel comfortable with trying to or divulging or talking about their problems to you. The other thing that's important to remember is touching the patient and shaking hands gives them a feeling of confidence that when you want to do a physical examination or any other procedure, you will not be hesitant. The second thing is getting to understand some background of the patient, asking some questions that are not so direct or very sensitive immediately. So I started off by asking the patient's age and his marital status. That also puts the patient at ease and then only move on to the main complaints. You may notice that the patient went on to describe some of his problems, and that's an important aspect of the interview, where you allow the patient to talk for at least the first 10 minutes without interruption. What you may be able to do during this period is provide enablers. And some of those enablers you may have noticed, such as the words yes, the nods that I gave, and even the paraphrase, the repetition of the last few words which I thought were important in the interview, so that the patient realizes and understands that I am listening, that I am attentive, and I am concerned. Now, during the whole period of the interview, there is eye contact. I am in constant eye contact with the patient and his body language. And the patient is similarly watching me. If my body language suggests that I'm disinterested, I'm concerned about other things, or I want to take a hurried approach, the patient will feel uncomfortable talking to me. We'll proceed on now. Morning, sir.
Good morning, doctor.
My name is Dr. Philip. Can I know your name, please?
I'm Ganapati.
Mr. Ganapati, how old are you?
I'm 68, doctor.
68. And are you married or single?
Yes, I'm married.
Okay. And are you working currently?
No, I am a retired teacher.
Okay. So what brings you here to see me today, Mr. Ganapati?
I've got a little bit of a health problem. That's why I thought I would come to consult you and get your opinion.
Okay. Tell me about this health problem.
I went for a recent checkup to hospital Tunku Jaffa, and they told me that I'm suffering from fatty liver disease or the problem of fatty liver.
Okay. So
I definitely believe it is due to my alcoholism.
I see.
So this is why I'm here to get some consultation and also your expert advice and opinions.
Yeah. So you've had your liver checked and you identified it's fatty liver?
Yes.
And
yes,
you're worried about whether your alcohol is causing this problem.
True, doctor.
Okay, in this second interview, again the greeting and the introduction was done in a way to show respect to the patient as well as make the patient feel comfortable. After that, an inquiry about the chief complaints. What was the patient here for? And then allowing the patient to describe in detail through open-ended questions what the problems were. Now, you would have noticed some of the cues or some of the things that were used during the interview to help the patient carry on to describe his problems. And some of them were enablers such as or even yes. And a nod and the body language that the interviewer provided would help the patient to know that the interviewer was paying attention to what the patient was saying, as well as willing to listen to more. Now, at the end of the interview, you would have noticed a summary. And a summary is essential and important to help the patient know that you've obtained the important, relevant information that is going to help in the whole therapeutic process. So making a summary is an important skill that all medical students have to develop. Okay, Mr. Ganapati, you mentioned to me that you've been having this alcohol problem. Can you tell me when it started?
It could have been about 20 years ago, doctor.
Okay. And how did it first start?
It started with a few drinks with friends, and it built on for further, consumption.
So it progressed on?
Progressed, yes.
And when you were drinking regularly, how much would you drink in a day?
I started off, or friends and I started off with just beer, that's all.
Okay.
So it was more for entertainment and just like outing, and it was just for social gathering. And we were having food, good food, and a few drinks went along with it. So that's how we started. But later it built on to stronger drinks. Like I went into whiskey, sometimes a combination of both.
So it got worse.
Yeah.
And you were drinking more than you first started drinking.
Yeah, true, doctor.
Did it come to a stage where you started drinking on your own?
Oh yes, I felt that why go out and spend extra money with friends? Why don't I get a bottle and just watch TV and sit at home and consume the bottle? So it started off like that.
Yeah. And did you feel that you were losing control?
Initially, I could control myself. I tell myself that I think I've had enough. That's just nice for the night, and I'll hit the bit. But it started building up one extra and went on to further extras, which I felt that I was going overboard.
So you were starting to drink more than you actually intended to?
Yes,
for longer periods than you wanted to?
Yes.
Okay. What sort of impact did this have on your family?
Financially, both of us, wife and I, are working, so it didn't affect so much. But I wouldn't say it didn't affect because it still showed that we were not on the negative, but we didn't have much savings. Let's call it that way. But I was thinking to myself, I was wasting a lot of the hard-earned money.
Did it have an impact on your relationship?
Off and on, my wife used to show cold shoulders. Daughter was too young to say anything, and that's how it went about, you see.
It did have an impact on your health?
Initially, I didn't have nothing, because the only problem would be the mornings when I get up, I'm a little moody and a little swing, and it takes a few minutes before I'm back to normal self. And even driving to school also was not very steady. My wife cautioned, and even the other friends of mine who followed me in my car were not too happy about the way I drove. But on the way back, I'm back to normal. Nothing abnormal about my driving.
So did you have, as you said, a problem in your liver?
I started getting pain in my stomach. You see? That's the initial problems that I faced. So after which I started vomiting, and I thought I would lay off for a few days, but few days didn't help. And then I thought it's not going to be any harm. It's not going to give me any harm. So I went on to drink further. Yes.
So you continued drinking even though you knew that your liver had a problem with fatty liver, and you were having nausea and vomiting as well?
Not that time, doctor. I didn't know that I was having fatty liver until I got vomiting was continuous and non-stop. So I had to go to the hospital to get myself admitted. After tests and 2 days of rest in the hospital, they came out with the conclusion that I was suffering from fatty liver.
Okay. Have you tried stopping alcohol before?
I tried once, but it just only 2 months I could refrain.
What happened when you stopped?
I felt beginning I was craving, and I was emotional and very edgy, and little things they irritate me. And but after a few weeks, I was feeling a little better. I thought maybe I'll quit for good, but temptations were too great, and especially when I see others having a drink, why can't I just have one? So that one ended me with several drinks back to normal.
Did you used to have tremor or shakes when
Oh
you
yes,
stopped?
doctor. I used to have. I couldn't stretch my hand and keep still. My hands used to, this was a test done by the hospital. The doctors told me that this is a test to find out whether you are alcoholic. And they told me that I am alcoholic, so I have to completely absolve from drinking alcohol.
So when you tried to stop before, the things that made it difficult was seeing other people drinking. your friends, and so you would start to drink again.
Yeah, that's how I started. I started buying back home. Initially, you see, I thought I'll just take one or two drinks and that's it. But it never worked, doctor. One or two built up to more.
So eventually you lost control.
Lost control and went back to
the usual pattern.
Yes.
What other things sort of stimulated you to want to drink again?
I don't have any family problems and things like that, so I wouldn't say it's financial or anything like that, but it's more of I took it as an entertainment or maybe just to have a drink, to put it that way.
So when you felt bored, that would be something that stimulates you to think about having a drink?
Yeah, that's right. And also I was thinking when I feel I have, done a little bit of work at home or even gardening. I do quite often a lot of gardening, you see. So I thought a beer, sitting down and cooling down my sweat and things like that would do me some good. But what got built up more and more, you see. That was the problem. I couldn't control myself.
Okay. So you used it as a reward at times?
Yeah, that's exactly exact words that prompted me to continue drinking. Yeah.
So why is it important for you to change, to have control in your drinking?
Like I said, I used to get edgy and unnecessary involvement with people, and little things irritate me. And even driving, somebody just cuts across. Those days I used to be just thinking, he's silly, why should I be following into his trap? So I used to think that way, but I became a bit agitating and also very violent about it.
I see.
Really,
so you were putting yourself at risk?
Yes, which my wife was dead against, you see, because I am causing problems.
So it was causing a problem in your relationship as well, because you were getting more irritable.
Yeah, but she didn't. My wife did not put it that way. It would be wrong if I say that she was accusing me of getting involved, but she was doing it for my sake. Yeah. So she was trying to stop me and try to get me back to my old self.
Okay.
That's what.
Are there any other reasons that made you decide that you need to make this change?
No specific reasons, doctor. It's just that I felt that I must have a drink just to pass my time and relax. That's the word, the wrong word that I'm using, relax, because that's what I felt, you see. That's a way to relax. I always thought to myself, relax with a beer, you see. That's the way I thought. But the beer became whiskey and, stronger drinks. That's when I faced problems.
Let me rephrase that question. Are there other reasons why you feel you need to stop drinking?
Mainly because I think I'm just burning away money for no reasons. Okay? So that money might be useful for the family. And that was the main reason why I decided I have to. And the second reason, or I would say this even better reason, is my health. You see, my daughter is still young, and I don't want to I don't want them to face any problems due to my wrongful attitudes. That is drinking.
So you don't want to hurt yourself further and then put other people in worry and jeopardy.
Yeah, in particular my family, doctor.
Family.
Yes.